I wasn't open them up. Shorty, she talking and open them up. If it says something, we going it out. And then it's stopping it out. And then it's got and it's part of it, stopping it.
And now from an undisclosed location, you are now tuned in to the Xander Effect with host Xander Dames.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Xander Effect. I am your host, Xander Dames. I have a new co-host here with From Growing Pains. The wonderful actors, Jeremy Miller is right here with me. We're going to talk a little bit about a few things going on in the entertainment industry, including Sharon Stone saying don't vote for a killer as her family is being ravaged by COVID-19. In sports, we're going to talk a little bit about DC Cormier saying goodbye to the sport and his loss at UFC 252 against Stipe Miocic. And in video game news, we've got WB Games Montreal is teasing a potential Batman game announcement for tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, here is brand new music from Dirty Machine's Bad Mamacita right here on the Xander Effect.
So it's in the morning, it's when I wake up. It's when I think about you, it's when I think about me. I'm still fucked up, no I cannot eat, no I cannot sleep, no I cannot be. Just knowing that you got the best of. In the morning when I wake up, man, I hate this place. I miss the smell of your clothes, I miss that look on your face. Miss the way you walk naked through the living room. Taking off those panties, feeling on that ass. I knew I don't got no money, I can't keep you here. Running through that paper, that's what I feared. You're a bad bitch, got me stuck in Wonderland. Fuck me like nobody else can. So when I think about you, it's when I think about me. Let's talk about you, let's talk about me. You're my drug, you're my everything. Those eyes keep me jaded all through the day. Stuck on your ways, fuck change it for me. Take a seat, let it be. I swear you are my disease. I'm not running away, cause there's nowhere to go. Gotta face this hell, think you left the shit on my own. I'm a man torn from his soul, screaming fuck them all, fuck the world, fuck everyone but you, girl. Yeah, I said it, yeah, I said it, yeah, I said it, fuck everyone but you, girl. You're a bad bitch, got me stuck in Wonderland, where you fuck me like nobody else can. When I think about me, let's talk about you, let's talk about me. So when I think about you, it's when I think about me. Let's talk about you, let's talk about me.
Yo, what's happening? This is your favorite guest, Du Brown.
Hey guys, this is Ian Garen.
Hey, this is Annalise Hoveda.
Hey yo, this is Nightmare from Dirty Machine.
Hi, this is Cambry Lovesey.
Hey, this is Steph Lee.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening to the Xander Effect.
right here on the Xander Effect. Got a couple of, man, I'm excited because I haven't had the Xander Effect for a while. I went on a little bit of a hiatus for a time, and I ended up driving around. I mean, I was keeping safe, of course, and I ended up finding that Jeremy's always around.
You can't get rid of me, baby.
I really can't, so good to have you here.
That sign was really effective. No, you're a leg man, so.
I'm a leg man all the way. See, folks, this is the reason why don't drink and drive, okay? Just don't do that. I didn't say what I was drinking.
Okay.
Moving on to entertainment news. All right, guys. Moving on to entertainment news. Sharon Stone says, "Don't vote for a killer." Family is being ravaged right now by COVID-19 as 2 of her family members have died from COVID-19. Her sister is actually now in the hospital fighting for her life because she's got a weak immune system. She has lupus. She's got her mother that also is asymptomatic right now for COVID, and she can't even get a test, which is it's creating a huge stress on her. She actually went on a video on social media and basically is saying to, pleading for people to vote for Biden-Harris. And she's again blaming Trump because the person that ended up infecting her family was not wearing a mask, according to what she's saying. She's angry at Montana's governor and state health officials who have also been unresponsive. So, I mean, this is something that's going on with a lot of people in the nation, not just her, but there's so many people that are going on that have this issue going on right now with COVID-19 that a lot of people are not wearing masks. And this is a stress that's not only happening with her, but with so many.
With so many people. And the truth is, anybody who has a family member who is immunologically compromised, you're already worried about this. I have 3 people in my house, my mother and stepfather, as well as my fiance, who are all immunologically compromised. So guess what? We have to be very fastidious and very careful. And thankfully, in California, people have been a little better about wearing their masks. Not great.
Not much.
But better. And, it is what it is. But we are extra fastidious about it because of who I have here in the house. We have to be careful. My stepfather has full COPD and less than 40% lung function. If this hits him, he's gone. There's no, it's over. He will not make it. And I can understand her, her fervor and her anger. I mean, when it's affecting your family, absolutely.
No, it's a tough one for her. I mean, especially since she suffered loss, and once you suffer loss, that's an even bigger anger, especially when it's something that could have been prevented at this point.
You would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, at how many people try and disregard anything that I say with the term, "Oh, you're from Hollywood." I'm not kidding. The fact that she lives in Montana, I guarantee doesn't matter. 90% of the country, especially anybody living below the Mason-Dixon line, I'm sorry to be that way, I guarantee you they blew her off. They don't care. The majority of them don't. They literally wrote her off because, well, she's from Hollywood. What does she know? I'm telling you, that is so common that it's not. I mean, I wish it would bring more attention to it, the struggle that her family is going through. But I guarantee you, just from what I've dealt with, there are so many people in my own family that have written me off when I mention something like that because, "Oh, you're from Hollywood. You don't know what you're talking." I had a lady tell me the other day that she, I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm from Hollywood. She lives in Cleveland, Ohio. She lives in the real world.
Well, yeah, I mean, they believe that just because you're an actor, just because you've been on a television show and people know who you are, that automatically you're not a human being. You're superhuman or something. It's dumb for them to even think something like that, really. I mean, Sharon Stone.
Xander just called me superhuman. That's maybe the first compliment he's ever paid me. I may have to record. I may have to play this back over and over.
Okay, keep it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give an F. Okay, because it's not gonna happen again. All right. But I mean, seriously, it's crazy crazy because I mean, Sharon Stone, granted, she hasn't been in anything in a while for whatever reason, but she's still, a well-known name, especially the guys.
Absolutely.
Especially the guys. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, just because she has been in the big screen, small screen, whatever have you, she's still a human being. She's still, puts on her clothes the way she does. She still has 2 arms, 2 legs. It's one of those things where you can't really say, okay, well, you're a star, you're a celebrity. This is just all politicizing and blah blah. No, we have people that are dying. We have people that are infected. Tom Hanks was one of the first celebrities that was infected by this.
Absolutely, Tom and Rita, man, both. I mean,
they both huge celebrities, and they were infected by this. I mean,
and when you're talking about 2 of the most beloved people in Hollywood, 2 people who have never pissed anybody off as far as anybody knows, 2 people who anybody would go to the ends of the earth for, and all these people, all they're doing is begging people, please just take precautions, be smart. You know me, I did a lot of work in Asia for a while, going to China. The environmental and pollution things out there because of industry are very high, and people wear masks on a daily basis, and they've been doing it for 20 years.
They started the fad, actually.
Okay, I mean, it's been going on forever. They wear them every day. There's never been a problem. There's no health issues that have arisen from it beyond, let's look at doctors and nurses and everybody else who wears them 12, 16 hours a day. It's just, even if it's only 40% effective, even if it's only 30% effective, it's something to help and to actually, if it helps in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and help other people. I'm going to try and protect myself and people around me. It's that simple. I don't get it.
And she's using her status as well to go ahead and actually, showcase awareness, which is something that a lot of celebrities, they have been doing lately during this crisis, is trying to show, awareness and give people a conscience and say, hey, we're people too. We're all in this together. Something that I always preach at the end of each episode is that we're all in this together. This is one world. So we all have to watch out for each other and take care of each other. In other entertainment news, The Crown casts Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana in season 5 and 6. Elizabeth Debicki, she will be seen in Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and she's been casted now for seasons 5 and 6 of The Crown. She says, quote, Princess Diana's spirit, her words and her actions live in the hearts of so many. It is my true privilege and honor to be joining this masterful series, which has had me absolutely hooked from episode 1. She tweeted that on Sunday afternoon. It's going to go ahead and showcase on Netflix, as it's been doing so far. And so far, I mean, they're going for season 5 and 6, so the show's actually doing pretty well. And let me tell you, Elizabeth looks very, very similar to Princess Diana.
I have to say, I think this is an excellent choice. You guys know, I mean, we've all seen she's a very, very strong performer, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can do with it, because it is an iconic character. It is my mother's, icon and role model throughout the 80s and early 90s.
I honestly think that Princess Diana, she was just an icon for so many women, young and old. And, my mom, she also loved her. She loved her so much. She cried when she passed away, when Princess Diana passed away, as the whole world cried. Actually, it's just the manner in which she passed away. I mean, an accident, it's a freak occurrence that happened, and it was something that hit the heart and homes of so many people around the world, because Princess Diana, she did so much for so many. She was a major humanitarian. And
absolutely. But us Americans, and I think one of the things that most of the moms of our generation really connected with was the fact that this woman walked away from royalty. She walked away from all of it to protect her children and to try and live a normal life. And I think that's something that every American mom was able to, kind of connect with and go, damn right,
That and the whole thing with Prince Harry. That with him, like the whole cheating scandal. I mean, that was something else that must have hit hard as well, I'm assuming.
I'm sure it did for a lot of people. I mean, when you're talking about kids that went through that, and you have Prince Charles and Camilla and
Prince Charles
that happened, and
Harry.
But we do, unfortunately, and now we don't know for sure, but there's Prince Harry and Prince William. There's all these possible cheating things and scandal, whatever, and it's always such crazy stuff with with the royals. But Di kind of passed that. She kind of elevated above all of that nonsense, and I think people really loved her for that. This is a great addition.
Agreed. So definitely going to go ahead and watch out for that one in the new season. I'm curious to see exactly how she's going to go ahead and portray Princess Di. Like I said, looks like her. Let's see if she is like her. So it's yet for us to find out. In other entertainment news, Kim Kardashian joins Kanye for Sunday service, and I wonder if this is actually a good sign, because obviously we all know they've been going through a really, really rocky marriage this past month or so, starting with Kanye going off on her on Twitter, having kind of a mental breakdown. It's the reason why it's news now is because they weren't expecting them to go anywhere together. Apparently they went to they actually spent a vacation. They went on vacation with the family to try to go ahead and reconcile and mend things, and it looks like what they call the make or break vacation seems to have worked, because they went back to Wyoming and they attended a Sunday service, and apparently people were concerned because of the COVID-19 and everything. They held it outdoors, which looks like, to be honest with you, I'm looking at the picture right now. It looks like a field, like a mountainous field, something out of The Sound of Music practically. And they're all wearing red. They're all wearing orange red.
The hills are alive.
That's exactly what it looked like, actually.
We know you like musicals.
Hey, easy there, Tiger. Okay.
What did I say? I love musicals. Did I say it was a bad thing? Don't get so defensive. I hope they work it out, but it is what it is. The guy's, he definitely has some issues, and she's trying to deal. So I'm being nice.
Jeremy, this is the Xander Effect. No need to be nice. Trust me.
All right, the guy's a nut job. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry. I want to be nice. Come
on.
I mean, the man's a nut job. It's crazy. It is. I'm sorry. He's really got some issues. I hope he gets help. I really do, and I hope it doesn't destroy their family. God bless him. I don't want to see anybody's marriage fail, but it's not a easy situation. I mean, marriage sucks for most people. Making it work does not go as well as you think most of the time. Well, throw 300 million on top of that and then try and figure it out. It takes a lot of work and a lot of compromise. And no, I mean, Joni. I mean, she'd be out the door in 2 seconds if I did that shit. I mean, there wouldn't be. And not only would she be out the door, I'd probably get my ass kicked.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, before she left. Yeah, before she left, she would freaking do a UFC style, get on top of you, just start ground and pound on you.
But again, when you're talking about mental illness, and if she recognizes that he's dealing with something like that, then, maybe she's trying to be there for him. I mean, who knows? But, there's a point where you have to realize he's dealing with something. This is not him being just an asshole or just a little, weird. I mean, he's got some issues, and it sounds like she's trying to be there for him and work through that. And, you know, hell, that's what a marriage should be.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, people may criticize Kim for a lot of things, but
and it would be very justified.
Exactly, very true. But in this particular case, I mean, I got to give her props because she is standing by, like she's literally standing by her man, even in sickness and in health. She made those vows. She's sticking to those vows.
It seems to be.
That's something that needs to be commended by her. I mean, she's thinking of her kids. She's thinking of her family. So no doubt that also is coming into play as well. I mean, props to her for that. I mean, I hope that whatever they went through, you know, apparently from what a lot of people are saying, because Kanye is bipolar, he hasn't been on his meds in a while. He even admitted to it. Definitely might have created that particular episode. So, I mean, hopefully he got help. Hopefully Kim was able to convince him, hey, do this for your kids, you know, do this for your family. So we'll see what happens in time. I mean, we'll see if time does heal all wounds, and we'll see what happens next. We'll just keep an eye on that. Coming up next in sports, DC Cormier says goodbye to the world of fighting in the UFC and MMA. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, brand new music coming in from Daniel Waite. Here is Life is Real, right here on the Xander Effect.
Yeah. Life I live. Tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. Tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. So tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. So tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. This life I live is real. Diamond. Yes, it's Diamond Dan. Tell you how I live. Dan Frank facing $100 bills. China deals up the Hong Kong bridge. Big weight on my truck, only meals. T-Rex, I'm talking dinosaur deals. 100 mil, all I know is do it big. My mama told me this is life that I'd live. I always knew I was made for this shit. This life I live is real. Tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. So tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. So tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. This life I live
Tell me how you feel, shawty. I ain't friend, girl, you know this life is real, shawty. They say I'm jaded, but I wish a nigga will, shawty. They ain't fucking with me, I done suffered defeat. I bounce back like Juvie. I done got my racks up, now these hoes choose it. Now they wanna do me. I done been through hell, then my fashion improve it. Can't take no days off, my nigga, I can't lose this.
This life I live is real. Tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. Going hard stacking bank. All this blue money, I found me a way. I am too high, I can't hear what they say. But from up here, I see everything. New watch, new plane. Now tell me if you want the riches and fame. Deep in the game, had the future, my place. Now I live like a baller, it ain't gonna change. This life I live is real. This life I live is real. Now tell me how you feel. This life I live is real. This life I live is real. This life I live is real. Tell me how you feel. This life I live
This is AB.
Hey guys, this is Sean Kanan.
What's going on? It's Amanda Holly.
Hey, Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains here.
This is Maxim O'Reilly Sawyer.
And you're listening.
To the Xander Effect.
Heart's been broken so many times before. Cause the last time you were asked to trust, all you got was pain, deceit, and all that bad stuff. I need you to trust me, so that one day we two can say, we found the love that we always saw another.
Ian Guerin's Free Time right here on the Xander Effect. In sports, DC Cormier not only lost to Stipe Miocic for the title, for the heavyweight title, for UFC heavyweight title, but he also pretty much says that that's it. He's hanging up his gloves, in fighting. And to be honest, I don't know. I think DC might have a couple of fights left in him. I mean, he's only 41. I mean, maybe he took this loss a lot harder. I mean, besides the fact of the matter that his eye practically is popping out when he's being interviewed. But I don't know. I think he might have a couple more fights in him. I mean, it's strange to see DC say goodbye.
I think any fighter, you can never believe they're really retired. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, we have Mike Tyson and Roy Jones coming back to fight.
That's a good one.
You don't stop fighters from fighting. But I liked what DC said. And he said, I'm only interested in fighting for titles, and I don't see another title shot coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
And I get that.
I mean, they went the distance. They went the distance all 5 rounds. I mean, Stipe won by unanimous decision. I don't know. I mean, having a loss like that and then retiring from a loss like that is kind of a double-edged sword, because when you retire after a loss via decision, you're kind of like, man, I wanted to actually finish this. But then again, if you retire after getting knocked out or submitted, that's also something you're going to have to live with, for the rest of your retirement.
Well, absolutely. And DC has always been a smart fighter. He's a guy who used his brain, so, I mean, not that he didn't have great physical skills as well, but I see him as somebody who, like I said, you never know. You can never rely on a fighter being done fighting. They're always going to have that drive, and you never know if they're going to come back. But being able to look at what he has done, the heights he achieved, and I honestly believe he knows he lost. A lot of guys lose a decision, and in their mind, they're wondering, did I really lose that? I mean, look at his eye. You take a beating like that, you got your butt handed to you, whether it was a decision or not.
True. I mean, you really couldn't tell, though. I mean, according to a post-fight interview with Dana White actually said that before he got poked in the eye, there was already an issue with the eye. So, in other words, he's trying to say that DC can't really blame the eye gouge for part of the reason why he wasn't performing the way he was, because there was already issues with the eye before that.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that little stigma right there. So we don't know. I mean, it's possible that maybe DC's having eye issues even before that. Maybe he caused it during training. That could be another problem that occurred. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point? All we know is that DC's out. And right now, according to what, again, Dana White in his post UFC press conference, they were asking to see if John Jones was going to be up next for the title. And Dana said, nope, not going to happen. It's going to be Francis Ngannou. And it's so far, that's who's going to be facing Stipe Miocic next for the title. And but what's crazy is that John Jones went on Twitter and just went on a Twitter rant. Basically, he was teasing that he was going to go over to heavyweight. And I'm just like, dude, relax, bro. Okay, you need to first get it up there. Chill out. Like, he's practically saying that he's already there. He's already next in line for the title shot. And I mean, I think he must have corrected himself, because he did stop for a second and did say, well, I mean, this is just he went on a Twitter rant. He said first, quote, heavyweight world championships, I will be seeing you real soon. Victorious. Another tweet, he said, this is exciting for me. Another tweet said, for some reason, these heavyweights don't seem so big to me tonight. Another tweet says, avoid Stipe's right hand. I'm too fast. I'll be too strong when the time is right and have way too much energy. Soon and very soon, I'll be considered the baddest man on the planet. It's almost like he's already putting himself as the number one contender for the heavyweight. This guy needs to relax. He's already had a lot of problems dealing with drugs. I mean, my question is, was he on drugs when he tweeted this? I mean, it's like, dude, calm down. You're not there yet. You need to relax a little bit. Ngannou's the one that's next. He's the one that's been fighting to get there. So he's the one that's well deserving of a next title fight.
This is why fighters need good people in their corner and need good people around them, because great fighters always believe that they're the best. Great fighters believe that next challenge is always doable. And, you got to have someone to pull you back at times. Any great fighter has good people in their corner who can calm them down, get them back on the path, get them focused, and so on. John Jones was one of the best that ever did it, and it's been a long time since he could compete at that level. We haven't seen him in that form in a very, very long time. So, for him to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go up to heavyweight and, I'm the baddest, I'm going to do that's a lot of talk right now. He hasn't shown us shit in 3 years. So
no, he went on a Twitter tirade. He's trying to remain relevant. I mean, because people are still upset with him for the numerous indiscretions that he's committed over these past few months. I mean, he's been clean. He's been on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon. So right now, people are wondering if he's even going to be reliable enough to even make it to another title fight at this point.
Yeah, it's an honest question. It is a real question among fans, and it's something that fans have a right to ask at this point. I'm sorry, but they do.
It's just going to be, I mean, I guess only time will tell. We'll see what happens with them. But so far, as it stands right now, Francis Ngannou is up next to fight Stipe Miocic. I mean, Dana White said it. According to UFC rankings, the one behind Francis is Curtis Blades as well, with 14-2 overall, record, 9-2 in the UFC. So, I mean, you got Francis Ngannou that also has an incredible record. He's 10-2 in the UFC, 15-3 overall. So these guys are guys that definitely are well deserved of a title fight against Stipe. So I guess we'll find out what happens in the next few months after the Miocic Ngannou, because again, Ngannou wins the title. Who's next? From that point on.
And that's exactly it. These are guys who've been out there for the last few years, are banging every day, are out there competing, have been having matches. What has John been doing? I mean, I'm not challenging the man.
You're right.
God bless him, but what has he been doing? He hasn't been out there fighting. So, these are the guys who have earned it. These are the guys who are there. And truthfully, I think he would get his butt handed to him right now. I really do, just from what we've seen from him over the last 3-4 years.
And Stipe is no joke. The guy,
Stipe is awesome.
The guy he's a tank.
He's a beast, and I love what he's doing right now. I don't quite. I mean, what he's done, you can't argue with it. The people he's beaten and so on. Now, do I think he's the greatest I've ever seen? No, but he's definitely the greatest I've seen right now.
Agreed. And I mean, the way he's going, he's got nowhere else to go but up. He is considered right now the greatest, and he's going to remain on top of that crown. He's going to have that crown for a while until somebody's able to throw him off that throne. I mean,
I would argue just because of it's the heavyweight division, and that's always going to be looked at as the baddest. But pound for pound, I'll take Joel Romero over any of them.
Yes. And of course you would argue with me. You always argue with me. Why don't you just agree with me? Why don't you just...
Because you're very rarely right, so I have to point that out. I've been following the fight game for a long time. My dad and my grandparents were huge boxing fans, so I grew up with that. And, I fought for a long time, not professionally, of course, but martial arts and stuff. So I was probably about 5 years too early for UFC, but had I still been training and fighting, I would have given it a shot if I'd have been about 5 years later.
Yeah.
So it's just always been something that's been fascinating to me, and I love watching, great fighters who can elevate themselves above the brutality and just take it to the next level.
See, the thing about Jeremy is that if you saw him, you'd think, wow, this is a really nice guy. But in actuality, you'd be scared shitless of the guy when he gets pissed. It's funny. We actually just talked about this last night. We were talking about how I told him how you both are very similar in that aspect, that you're both very mellow, very chill, very relaxed. Just don't piss you off. And that'll be all bad. In other sports news, WWE star Sonya Deville was targeted in an alleged kidnapping plot. They arrested the perpetrator, who was actually he entered her home armed with a knife and zip ties and duct tape. He waited for hours he waited for several hours, according to what authorities say, and entered her residence around 2:45 in the morning. And he entered, and luckily Sonya's alarm system went off. So she grabbed, it was her and her friend. She grabbed her friend and made a run for it. Called the police, and the guy the guy ended up being arrested. His name is Philip A. Thomas. They arrested him on Sunday. And it's crazy. He says apparently he had been planning his move for 8 months. So this guy was this guy's disturbed completely. I mean, you see the picture of this guy. He looks like, I don't know. He looks like a kid, to be honest with you. He looks like, but apparently, I mean, you know, Sonny DeVoe was very startled at what happened. I mean, with good reason. So, I mean, I'm glad that she's okay. But this is crazy how fans like that. I mean, this guy. I mean, we've heard of stalkers and everything, but this is definitely one of those stalkers that took it to that next level. I mean,
I told you, dude. We had. I mean,
I was going to ask you about you, Jeremy, because I mean, you know, you know, as a young actor, you know, when Growing Pains was like, you know, huge. I mean, I'm sure that you were just a kid, though.
Well, I was just a kid, but I did have a stalker who went to prison. He was stalking me as well as Prince William and Prince Harry. He was stalking a few other major child stars of that time, the kids from Wonder Years and a couple others. He actually planned to come to the set and murder me. He used to write letters describing very graphically how he was going to murder and rape me, not always in that order, depended on how he felt. And, you know, I had at one point for an entire 6 months, I had FBI agents following me around the set. Because he was saying he was going to show up. We actually had a stalker show up on set with a gun coming after Kirk. Rebecca Schaefer, who was on My Sister Sam, worked next door to us and was murdered on her doorstep by a stalker. Stabbed to death on her doorstep, one of my very dear friends. Wow. So this is a very real problem, and it is not a joke. I mean, people get obsessed. I have many friends in the soap opera business, you know, who have come home and found, thankfully most of them are harmless, but have found women in their shower, have found people hiding in their closet, have found it's crazy, man. Fans will take it to, you know, people get obsessed and things can get scary real quick. I'll tell you, if it wasn't for my mother and my grandmother, I'd have never made it through. But I mean, we had a lot of weird ones. I got a call. I got zoomed out of my 8th grade math class. I was asleep in math class, and all of a sudden my buddy's nudging me. He's like, "Jeremy, wake up, Chappie's here." And our school chaplain was at the door calling me out. And yeah, they had gotten a death threat. A death threat was called in to NBC. It's like, I don't even work for them. But a death threat was called in.
Studio, you idiot.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Get it right. But they called in and this guy said, "I'm going to die today. He's going to kill me today." So they literally showed up, rushed me out of school, stuck me on a helicopter, and took me to an undisclosed location for the weekend. I mean, this is not normal experiences for a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Wow. But it was a part of life, and thankfully my mother and my grandmother, who were my guiding forces, kept me kind of sane through it and let me know that everybody was watching out for me, and I felt protected. Truthfully, when you have FBI agents following you around the set, you feel pretty safe. So
there's just so many avenues where a celebrity, I mean, unfortunately they have the money to do so they could easily just sell. But I mean, it still sucks because you have to uproot and reroute your entire life. You're thinking, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I know where to go to here. I have everything close by, stores, restaurants, whatever. And now you have to uproot for fear and start all over again.
And you're talking about an industry that is kind of geared towards this. It's very similar to the soap thing I was telling you about. You're playing a character that people can't disassociate from a lot of times. Now, I don't know if this was that kind of situation or what this guy's obsession with her was, but she's in an industry that people get very passionate about, and people really believe in their characters and believe in, I mean, you get heels in the business who get death threats because of their character.
Yep.
So you're dealing with something that people don't separate the fiction from the reality, and that adds a whole nother level to it. So this guy's obsession may not have even had anything to do with that, but that's something that she will have to deal with throughout that career.
Well, I mean, it's like that movie Ready to Rumble. That's a perfect example of how many fans think that wrestling is real, and they're like, wrestling's not fake. You know, I mean, they're going nuts in that movie, but it's true. I mean, I remember I saw a brief documentary about the history of WrestleMania, and they got to the point where it was the WrestleMania Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. The thing about that particular WrestleMania is that they interviewed Sergeant Slaughter, and he said, I was getting death threats because at the time it was during the Gulf War, and he was totally, a part of Iraq and all this other stuff, and you have Hulk Hogan. They were playing up the Gulf War into the drama and making Hulk Hogan the American hero, all for the USA and all this other stuff. So Sergeant Slaughter, he was like, I was getting death threats. I had to have officials actually they were posted at my house to make sure that nothing happened to me, because people were thinking that this is real, that I was a traitor to my own country. And in part, you have to blame Vince McMahon for coming up with that kind of a gimmick. I mean, yes, it sells, but dude, your wrestlers are in danger too. You know what I mean? I mean, not that they didn't.
I'll cut Vince a little slack on that one.
I don't know about that. I don't know. The guy, he's a promoter. He knows what sells. He could predict. I mean, not now. I mean, now lately it seems that he's just lost all sense of what the fans really want at this point. He needs to bring the Attitude Era back. But, I mean, at the time, he knew.
I miss Goldust.
I still remember that WrestleMania where him and Roddy Piper freaking stripped him down to his freaking lingerie. He was wearing like he was wearing thigh highs, a garter belt, complete dominatrix style, and then Piper just grabs him and freaking kisses him. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it got a little weird there for a while, but I mean, Sonny's gonna have to deal with this. All the wrestlers deal with this kind of stuff, but again, we don't know what this guy's obsession was, or if it was.
You mean Sonya?
What did I say?
Sunny.
Oh, no,
you're thinking of Sunny Days.
Yeah, seriously. No, she. It's just something that is gonna always be there in that sport, and unfortunately, this guy took it to the next level.
Agreed. And I mean, I'm glad that at least Sonya was prepared by having her house rigged to make sure no intruders get in. I mean, I'm sure that all WWE officials probably tell them, look, you're going to be famous. People are going to know you. Invest in the security system.
Dude, it could have gone really wrong. I mean, look at that female poker player from 4 months ago. She's found burned alive in her car, and it was a stalker. Everybody thought it was a gambling debt. Everybody was going after the gambling debt angle at first. The cops, everybody, and they came to find out, no, it was a stalker. She had a stalker fan who kidnapped her and did this and that, and burned her alive, and she's no longer with us. So
not to mention the fact of the matter that this guy, Sonya Deville's assailant, actually got in.
Yeah.
Like how far? I mean, imagine if she would have been right in the room where he entered. He would have been able to get her right then and there, like that quickly. So
that's how quick it can happen, man.
It's crazy. I'm glad that she's okay though, and the guy is arrested. Moving on in other sports news, Jason Wright is named president of Washington football team. He's the first black NFL team president. Jason Wright is actually he's a former NFL running back. He was undrafted as a free agent out of Northwestern back in 2004. Spent 7 years in the league, racking up 1,214 yards and 5 touchdowns. During the 2000 NFL lockout, he actually decided to go back to school and get his master's degree in business from the University of Chicago. And he even went on to partner for McKinsey & Company as a major consulting company. He went ahead and worked for them. So he has now been named the new NFL team president for the Washington football team. I can't get used to saying that.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
You know what though? I mean, they could have name the team anything. Why such a generic name?
Because honestly, if you believe what they say, they haven't decided on what they want the permanent name to be, and they didn't want to give anything, that was just that the fans were gonna latch onto. So they tried to go as generic as possible. Do I like it? No. Do I think they should have come up with something? Yes. But, they haven't come up with anything yet. So I think it's a great hire. I really do. I have to say, coming from someone like Dan Snyder, who spent so long saying, F you, we're not changing anything and I don't care. It feels a little disingenuous coming from him, but I like the move. The guy, I love seeing people put into the front office who have experience, who lived the life. And this guy he knows what he's talking about. He, like you said, he went and got his education. He's worked in different fields. I like the hire. I think this is a guy that can help move them forward. But do I believe this is, the Washington team and ownership and everybody else changing their ways? No, I don't quite believe that.
It's so like, it hurts me even saying that name, because it's like, dude, give them a real name. I mean, it's bad enough they suck, but give them a real name. Coming up next in video game news, Montreal teases, WB Games Montreal teases potential Batman game announcement for tomorrow. But first, brand new music from Dose, No Looking Back, right here on the Xander Effect.
Yeah, I did it. I know it hurts so bad, but baby, I admit it. It wasn't something I wanted to do just to hurt you, or desert you, or make you feel like I don't love you. I know you're living in a prison of pain that caused you're afflicted. Emotions so hard to tame, you're conflicted, but I won't hurt or desert you no more. No looking back. We can live in the shadows. We won't survive if our love is shallow. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. No looking back. No looking back. No
Hey yo, Sweet World, what's good with yourselves? This is your boy Twizzle White Piece, and guess what? You're listening to that super saucy show known as The Xander Effect. So make sure you tune in, turn up, and turn out for my boy Xander. You feel me? The Xander Effect. You did.
You stay up on my mind. The reason that my heart beats. If you leave a flat line, we got such a connection. Just let the stars align. Baby, make a wish and close your eyes. I don't wanna miss this snow. I don't wanna let this go. Something I just wanna know. Tell me what you're wishing for. You pull up the whip, it's for me. You take me on trips to Dubai. But they don't compare to the feelings that you got me feeling.
Amanda Holly's Get It Boy right here on the Xander Effect. In video game news, WB Games Montreal teases potential Batman game announcement for tomorrow. Now, here's the thing. As we all know, there's new consoles that are going to be coming out. We have the Xbox Series X that is supposedly set to come out November 15th, early to late November. There's been rumors of what the price may be. Pretty much they're saying it's going to be $599, but again, that's just a rumor. We don't know for sure. And of course, we have the PS5 that's also going to be released. So with these new consoles released, games are still rolling out regardless of the console's release or not. So At this point, it seems that WB Games Montreal had teased on Twitter a video of an image that has a bunch of different symbols on it. And according to IGN.com's Joe Screbbles, he said, quote, "The initial tease that led here saw the Batman Arkham Origins developer link to a new Twitter account called Redacted, which has uploaded a short video below showing a computer interface with occasional background interference, seemingly showing 3 different crests or logos. Of the 3 emblems shown, one definitely features an owl, although not the same owl as seen in previous teases, while the others are far fainter, making it difficult to make out exactly what they're depicting. It's not the first time WB Montreal has teased us with mysterious symbols related to its new game. So because of this, they're assuming that this has something to do with Batman game that's going to be coming out. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to something like that because they do amazing work when it comes to the Batman games. I got hooked with all the Batman Origin games, Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knights, Arkham City. I mean, I have them all. I played them all, start to finish. I've even replayed a couple of them because they're so good. And I'm looking forward to see what happens in this new Batman game. What do you guys think?
No, it would be great to have another, edition in the archives here. Batman games have always been one of the top superhero style games. They lend themselves to a whole lot of different fun scenarios. So I played Arkham, all of them. I've been waiting for a new one, and I hope they do it justice. But again, we don't know much at the moment, so there's not a whole lot we can go on.
I honestly, I love the stories of all the Batman series games. I mean, especially Arkham City, the last one where they introduced the Red Hood. I was, when I saw it, I loved the whole story leading up to it. How Jason Todd became, the Red Hood, and
you're such a DC nerd. I love it,
dude. It's I love the stories. I really love the stories. I enjoy them, and ironically enough, I really don't buy comic books. I'm not a comic book person that is a affiliate to that or buy them all. I love watching the stories, how they unfold. You're one
of the reasons the comic book industry is dying.
And there was a news about that too. There was a news about that too. I was going to talk about that, but I was like, that might be a sore subject to a lot of people. DC says they're still shelling out comic books. They don't feel that it's dying. So, I mean, especially right now that they have that DC Universe app, that they did actually something very brilliant. They not only have movies and TV shows on the app, but they also have comic books that they post on the app where you could read them off of the screen. So that's really cool that they did that. You don't actually have to go buy them. You have a membership, and you just go ahead and read them off there. So I mean, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. Don't give me that. Don't give me that whole comic book is dying crap. I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
I'm keeping hope alive.
Not like DC's ever made a mistake before. So,
anyways, I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, the stories are amazing. The graphics, man, Arkham City was ginormous when I played it. I was like, dude, this is a pretty big map.
I have to admit, that one was a little overwhelming for me. There was just too much going on. I did not get into that one as much as I got into the others.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not the only thing, but one of the many things I actually liked about that was driving the Batmobile. That vehicle is freaking awesome. Like, oh my God, I love driving that thing, dude. Like, and it is so cool because nobody could get near it. Any bad guys try to get near it, they immediately get electrocuted because it's surrounded by like an electric force field that anybody gets near it, they get like...
You are such a dork. I love it.
Yes, I am. I love it. So here's the thing. Fun fact about Jeremy. He actually got to go to the premiere of the original Batman with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, the original was, 1989, and man, it was amazing. It was the biggest opening Hollywood had ever seen. They rented out 2 theaters in Westwood that were right across from each other, and they actually built it up like Gotham, all the buildings around it, everything. It was the biggest opening Hollywood had ever seen, and yeah, I got very lucky. It was a Warner Brothers film, and I was looking for a way to weasel my way into a date with Danica McKellar from Wonder Years, and I got tickets, and there you go.
And he got the date, ladies and gentlemen.
I got the date. Well, I got the tickets, so nobody could get them, and yeah, I managed to get them, and that's how I got her to finally agree to go out with me after a year.
Who wouldn't want to date Winnie Cooper? She's gorgeous. She's hot. I mean, and the cool part is that, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not, I reported about this a couple of episodes ago, that the new Flash movie that's coming out in, I think, 2021, 2022, whenever it happens, he is reprising his role as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. He's coming back.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. I cannot wait.
He's going to be in the movie. He's going to reprise his role. As an older Batman, because apparently this movie has to do with the Flashpoint. So it's has to do with the Flash, kind of changing time or something like that. They with Ezra Miller playing the Flash, and so they're doing something around those lanes, something about different Earths, because we all know that the Flash, he's opened breach to several different Earths. You have Earth 1 through infinity. Pretty much.
Okay.
It's a whole story. It's a whole story. But the point is that in this movie, that's what they're doing. They're opening up breaches to different Earths. And in one of those Earths, Michael Keaton is still Batman. He still plays Bruce Wayne. And so he's going to be coming back. They actually did a tease, in a sense, when the the CW went ahead and did the crossover event from all their DC shows, Arrow, Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and Batwoman. And of course, Black Lightning. They did a huge crossover event, and in one of those, montages of the different Earths, they showed the Earth 89. And that's the Earth that Michael Keaton is, and the reason why they called it Earth 89 was because of the year that Batman premiered, 1989. So they did Earth 89 for that reason. And in one of the newspapers of that Earth, you see the person that's reading the newspaper is the guy that played the reporter in the Batman movie with Michael Keaton. Forget his name at the time, but he actually did a cameo in one of the montages, and it shows him reading the newspaper, the Gotham Gazette, and it shows billionaire Bruce Wayne to marry Selena Kyle, and it shows that picture of him, and in the background the bat signal's up, and he looks up at the red sky. He's like, you better be looking up at the sky, big guy. So it was pretty cool to see that brief cameo, but they were teasing something like that since they did the crossover event. So
you're talking about Robert Wool.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, again, I'm looking forward to that one, but we went back to entertainment news. Damn it. That's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for joining me on the Xander Effect. I'd like to thank actor Jeremy Miller, my brand new co-host, who I regret every single day that I made him my co-host.
And I regret agreeing to come on. So awesome. Thank you for having me on this miserable experience.
Nice. We'll definitely have fun next time around. Guys, remember, there's still a pandemic going on out there, so please remember to wear your masks, practice social distancing, be very safe, watch each other. We're in this together every single day. We're all one world, and that's one of the things that we always need to remember, that we all have to have each other's backs. And remember, music always heals all. We'll see you next time.
Yo, yeah. I wasn't open that mouth. Shorty, she talking and open that mouth. If it say something, we going it out. And then it's stopping it out. And then it's got it, part of it, nothing we got it. Stopping it, that's what we got it. And then we done it, and then we go loud. And it say something, we going it out.
The Xander Effect is powered by 50/50 Global Music Inc., Sony Music The Orchard, and BMG Bertelsmann. In association with Art 19 Media.